Today we have a Subaru Impreza RS. RS stands for Rally Sport, and well, to be perfectly honest, this car is neither rally nor sport, or maybe just a little bit. What is it? Updated for 24. The Subaru Impreza gained a model on top of the sport model called the RS. The big difference between the sport and the RS is that the RS is a 2.5 liter engine versus 2 liter that's on other Imprezas. That gave it 183 horsepower, which is actually substantially more than a 2 liter. But what it gave it is also a lot more torque. So this car is actually pretty peppy once you get on it, but it's not what I would call a hot hatch, maybe a warm hatch. The name RS in the United States doesn't really carry much of a name. There was the RS model of, I think it's called the GC8 generation. I'm not a big of a Subaru person, but again, that car looked like a WRX from other places in the world, except it had a standard American engine at the time. So there's not much to the name, but the RS here now has black 17 or 18-inch wheels, 18-inch wheels. The trim is black. It's got RS badges. Really not much more on it from the typical Impreza. That said, the Impreza isn't bad. It's actually a very nice vehicle now. It no longer feels like it's a cheap vehicle. It feels pretty nice actually. There's more RS changes on the inside. Specifically, we've got these seats. They are just reupholstered differently. There's no more special adjustments, although power seats are optional. This vehicle doesn't have it. But there's no bolsters or you know, harness points or anything fancy that automakers these days throw into their sporty model. No flat bottom steering wheel, which is a good thing because those are kind of stupid. But you get a leather wrapped wheel and a leather wrap shift knob. And you get fancy aluminum pedals, which make none of the difference, but they look pretty cool. Sunroof is optional. This model doesn't have it. Like, it's a package with power seats and with the sunroof. Rear seat is pretty big. The front seat is set up for me. I am about 6'2", so I can fit behind myself. One day I'll set up my video so that you can actually see me do this. Also, the back seat, unlike the other models, have 2 USB ports, a USB-C and whatever the non-C is. Cargo area is pretty good. Like most Imprezas or Crosstrek, you can fit a good amount of stuff over here. There is, if I figure out how to lift it, a temporary spare under there. Even though, no, there is no spare tire. That's a shame. They gave you a compressor. Shame on me for thinking there was. I could have sworn that it said that there is. So there's no spare tire, but there's a jack and a screwdriver. And I guess there's a phone number on here somewhere. I left some years ago that, you know, when BMWs took their spare tires away and gave you a phone number, they said, you know, I said basically you can use the screwdriver to stab yourself if you get a flat tire in area that doesn't have any cell coverage. Sorry to be so graphic. But it drives really nice. Also for 24, all Imprezas get a modified steering rack. The press release said it's based off of the WRX, but I don't know what the WRX rack versus the standard Impreza rack is. They didn't go into that much detail. It's not hydraulic. It's still electric, like they all are. It drives good. It's not fast, but it can be fun if you push it out a little bit. The whole time I've been driving it, I've been thinking about the Honda Civic Si. Now, this and the Honda Civic Si are very different animals. This is naturally aspirated. The Civic Si these days is turbocharged 1.5. This is 2.5. This is all-wheel drive. The Civic is 1.5. This has CVT. The Civic Si is a 6-speed manual with a limited slip-front differential only. So why was I thinking about the Civic Si? I don't know, but I was. But I was thinking the differences between them. To drive the Honda, you really needed to push it, to have fun with the Civic Si. You couldn't just casually drive it. Casually driving the Civic Si was almost kind of painful. It felt like any other Civic. Like Hondas of all times, you really needed to push the Civic Si to really get some enjoyment out of it. But that's where this actually has an edge, because that torque that I mentioned earlier and that larger displacement actually gives it some low-end power. So in that regards, it feels pretty good. It doesn't pull up top, but it's a more balanced powertrain than that of a Civic Si, which you really have to, bring up to a red line shift. This doesn't have that. This still does have a CVT. So let's talk about the continuously variable transmission. Subaru, I've noticed in the past few model years, actually made some great changes to the transmission. It doesn't feel like a CVT. You don't have that annoying feeling where the car accelerates but the RPMs stay even. It feels like a conventional automatic transmission. They even added paddle shifters here. I don't know, I didn't use them. There's a manual mode on the transmission too. I didn't use that either. That's just silly. But it feels like it doesn't feel like a CVT, and that is a good thing. Inside here is a typical Subaru thing. Clear gauges, big screen with wireless Apple CarPlay. On the bottom you get climate controls. You have hard buttons to change the temperature as well, a tune knob as well as a volume knob, USB-C and the old style USB over there, along with auxiliary input. I don't know who uses that, but I guess people still do, and a wireless phone charger. It's got heated seats, and I swear these buttons, I had them in my 2002 WRX. If it's not broken, then don't replace it. I'm fine with that. They are hard switches, so once you turn them on and then you turn off the ignition on, when you put it back on, they still stay on. So if you want it off, they're not automatic. That's the really only drawback that I can think of, if that's even a drawback. Electronic handbrake is over here, 12-volt socket over here, decent size center armrest. And it's a nice car. It drives well. It's not a hot hatch, but the additional power is welcome. I like the additional power. It's no WRX. But in my review of the Crosstrek, which is basically the very same car on stilts, that's slightly taller and it's got a roof rack on it, and apparently makes all the difference. I said that it wasn't always as stable as I would like it to be, especially at higher speeds. This being lower to the ground, having bigger wheels and lower profile tires, this drives a lot better. It would be great if Subaru did put a WRX engine into this. They didn't. They chose to do this. Obviously, they can't think of a market, or maybe the price would have been too high, because as this sits right now, this is $29,000. And really, is that cheap these days? I don't know, but it's not cheap, but it's not expensive. So adding that turbocharged engine and that beefier driveline, the bigger brakes, and everything else, how much would that price gone up? I don't know. I'm not their product market person, but apparently they chose to do this. It was easier, and that's what we get. We got an RS that's got a little bit more bang for the buck. I was also thinking about a Mazda 3, and the Mazda 3 is all-wheel drive. It does have a 5-liter engine that's turbocharged, and as much as 320 horsepower, I think, and is a little bit smaller inside. Different vehicle, but similar. The Mazda is smaller and it feels smaller, but but it's generally the same all-wheel drive kind of sporty, but not quite class. It's also available with an automatic transmission, only 6-speed automatic in that case. So you should look at that when looking at this, and just pick the one you really like. You can't go wrong with either of them, I think. Slightly different, but there's a lot of similarities between them. I got to check on the price of the Volkswagen GTI. I think the Volkswagen GTI is substantially more money. I don't remember, but I'll put that in my review. So there you have it. Subaru Impreza RS, new for 2024. This is a 25 model year. I don't remember what the differences between the 24 and 25 were, but minor, because they don't really do much in terms of year-to-year changes after the vehicle has just been introduced. So there you go. Drives nice flexible power bend. Great front daily driver. Needs a spare tire. The company that puts spare tires in their full-size spare tires in their other models skipped on a spare tire here, which is it's really a shame. I think that's just going cheap, or they might say that it loses 50 pounds of weight or so. But no, I'm a big fan of having a spare tire in the car, and this doesn't. So that's a bummer. So there you have it. Subaru Impreza RS. Goodbye.